is the child is going to need more support than is provided by just the basic 5-point harness system. That generally falls into the category of providing some front-to-back support for a child that may have difficulty keeping their head up. You wouldn't want their head just falling back over the seat. You'd want support there. You may also have some lateral support issues for a child who may, for instance, have scoliosis. And if that's the case, you're going to want to provide some side blocking. And so this is a point in the project where it's critical to be working with a physical therapist again, where they see the child, you just sort of set in here, looking at the seat, seeing how comfortable the child is, and then starting to think about exactly what support is needed to make the child comfortable while not overly restricting their mobility. One of the most basic support modifications is to provide a backboard, and this is just a standard kickboard. And so all you would do, and it's an adult's kickboard, so it's got enough length to it, so you'd want to put this behind the seat, so now you have some support here. In later videos, we're going to show you some PVC support frames, so if you feel like this might have a little bit of extra motion to it, when we do the support frame, we can provide a support structure to that so that it has a little bit less motion. When just fixing the 5-point harness to the seat, we use some small black fabric screws. Unfortunately, those aren't available in a length that we would need to secure the kickboard. So what we've used in that case are some 1.5-inch number 8 self-piercing lath screws. And those will have enough length to actually go through the board and the support system and the kickboard and get into the seat. And so, again, you might have to work with these with your hands, bend them a little bit so that you can actually get in there. And when you've done that, again, you're going to have a, not terrible head because it's kind of a washer head, but those should be covered with a square of the hook and loop side, loop side of the Velcro, which is like the soft kind of felt side. And this is self-adhesive on one side, so it's easy to stick to the seat. One of the things that occurs, if you notice this from the side, is that as we add this backboard, we move the child forward. And when we look into the floorboard here, you will see that you have moved the child's buttocks forward, so there's not as much seat for the child to be on, and certainly you want them supported there. So you would probably have to build something up there. Since you've moved them forward the thickness of a kickboard, often that's what you would need to build up here. And so you'd take a kickboard, you should have some saws on hand. Here we have a basic hand saw that uses a Sawzall blade. We also have a pull saw, which cuts quickly. Both of these will make a little bit of a mess. Having some type of carpet or bladed knife on hand, depending on who you're working with, can be appropriate. It's also nice to have some files on hand, because as you get in here, you might need to make some more minute adjustments to get it fitting neatly. You also need to be aware of where the vehicle charges from. So on this particular vehicle, the charging port is directly under the seat. And so when you add any support here, you want to make sure that there's still an access point for the parent or guardian to be able to plug in their power source. Some other things that you want to have on hand for doing the blocking, like maybe you determine that they need a wider support here. This is just foam insulation board available commonly at almost any hardware store. Very easy to cut and work with. It is going to make a bit of a mess, so you definitely want to have a vacuum around to clean up afterwards. And then these foam work pads for flooring are also something really good to have on hand. The gray color of this happens to blend in nicely, so you can even use it for doing some aesthetic modifications to cover things. But it's a little thinner than the other parts, which gives you some options on how to build out. Also, most of the time you'll be doing this on the floor with the child, so it's nice to have one of these underneath your knees.